Growing up, I spent many summers in the Ozarks. At an early age, I fell in love with its rich history of lawmen and bandits. Over the years, I've learned much more about the Ozarks, including its dark and mysterious lore. Join me, Blasky, as I dive into this lore, the myths, superstitions, and urban legends of the Ozarks. This is Ozark Mountain Lore. In 1692, the people of Salem, Massachusetts accused Bridget Bishop of witchcraft. Her lifestyle, deemed inappropriate and questionable by the Puritan townfolk, made her a prime target. Many claimed to have witnessed her devilish deeds and suffered her wrath. Despite professing her innocence, she was found guilty and hung after a brief trial, becoming the first person in American history to be tried and convicted of witchcraft. The fascination and fear of witches isn't unique to the Northeast. By the 1800s, tales of spells, curses, and practitioners of black magic had spread through the Ozarks. On the season finale of Ozark Mountain Lore, we will uncover the chilling and captivating stories of witches and witchcraft found deep in the hills of Missouri. We will look at 3 legendary witches whose names have become synonymous with the supernatural in the Ozarks. These women, each with their own unique power and dark history, have left an indelible mark on the region's folklore. The story of the Witch of Taskee, Queen Bevers, and Malectus the Necromancer. For our first story, we travel to an abandoned town of Taskee, Missouri, the birthplace of Josie Forbes, the woman later known as the Witch of Taskee. A simple girl with a seemingly simple life. She would later marry William Forbes in 1897. Josie was a school teacher while William owned and operated the Forbes Telephone Company. However, Josie wasn't just known for her work with students. It was rumored that she possessed an extraordinary power of clairvoyance. In 1906, the Wayne County Journal published an article that detailed Josie's popularity in the area. According to the piece, Josie's abilities were so renowned that people from all walks of life, lawyers, doctors, even men of faith sought her out for her visions. Thousands came to her every year, some even bypassing the law to seek her counsel. One notable case involved a man named Lewis Birch. Birch had rented out a horse to a Miles Sudbury, who promised to return the horses in a few days. When Sudbury didn't return, Birch turned to Josie for help. Josie, using her clairvoyant powers, told Birch that Sudbury had sold the horses and pinpointed their exact location. Birch found the horses exactly where Josie had described. Josie's reputation grew, and even lawmen would seek her out for information on unsolved crimes, hoping her visions could reveal what they missed. However, her abilities weren't always accurate. In 1908, Josie was approached by a sheriff to help with a case involving a woman accused of murdering her husband. Josie's vision showed 2 men standing in one room, with one man on the ground, and a woman holding a gun. Despite this, the widow was acquitted of all charges, stirring up controversy in the community. Some were furious that the sheriff would turn to a witch to help with a murder case, something that was used as political ammunition in the local papers. The legend of Josie Forbes is one that continues to captivate the imaginations of locals and visitors alike. Was she truly gifted with the ability to see the past, present, and future? Or were her visions merely a product of coincidence and conjuncture? A secret that Josie took with her to her grave. Our next tale takes place in Jefferson City, Missouri, once rumored to be a stronghold for witches. Prudence Bevis was the widow of Thomas Bevis, a pioneer of Jefferson County, who passed away in 1826. Following his death, whispers about Prudence taking up witchcraft began to spread. Over the next 30 years, she would become the terror of the town, with locals blaming every illness and misfortune on her, calling her Queen Bevers as a curse on her name. The local man who claimed Prudence hexed his gun while hunting, preventing him from killing a deer. Despite being sighted correctly and in working order, the gun would not fire no matter what he tried. Desperate, he sought the help of a witch charmer named Henry H. Jones. Jones crafted a makeshift doll to represent Prudence and fired a silver bullet through it. Miraculously, the man's gun was restored, and Prudence was later seen tending an injured limb. Related, or just odd timing? Another tale tells of a farmer who accused Prudence of witchcraft after refusing to sell her a cow. Later that night, the cow jumped the fence and ran into town. After getting it back to the farm, the cow began producing only bloody milk. The farmer's cries of witchcraft only fueled the town's fear of Prudence. But the stories don't end there. There were 3 little girls in the town that fell mysteriously ill, and once again, Prudence was blamed. Henry H. Jones was called upon once again to investigate. Upon examining the girls, he discovered hairballs under their skin, which he claimed was a curse created by a witch. After removing the hairballs, the girls soon recovered, furthering solidifying Jones's reputation as a witch doctor. However, Jones' methods weren't foolproof. Zach Borum, a distressed father, sought Jones's help for his sick child, believing the illness to be the work of Queen Bevers. Jones advised placing a vial of magic liquid in their chimney, hoping that it would break the curse. Prudence did fall ill around the same time, but the boy's condition worsened and he eventually succumbed to his illness, while Prudence recovered. Prudence Bevis' story is one of fear, superstition, and the power of belief. We may never know the true extent of her abilities or the reality of the accusations against her. To this day, she remains a haunting figure in the lore of Jefferson City. For our final story, we find ourselves in southwest Missouri to a now extinct township called Lincoln Township. Here we will find a story about a woman who possesses one of the most terrifying abilities a witch could possess: the power to raise the dead. For this story, I sourced most of the following details from the professor of U.S. History at Missouri State University, Dr. Martin Brandenburg. Victoria Munsford was born in 1841, a seemingly typical girl until the age of 8, when she mysteriously vanished. Despite an exhaustive search, her family eventually accepted her presumed death and even marked an empty grave with a headstone. But in 1857, Victoria suddenly returned, offering no explanation for her absence. Her family, relieved to have her back, chose not to pry into her past. However, Victoria was no longer the cheerful and outgoing girl that they once knew. She became quiet, prone to violent outbursts, and was often found standing naked in the yard under a full moon, covered in self-inflicted wounds. The family doctor diagnosed her with the phantasm, a term that was used to explain her unexplainable condition. Victoria's father, having ties to the Confederate Army during the Civil War, was contacted by Confederate General Benjamin McClock to gather intelligence on the Union movement. According to a letter between Union General Nathaniel Lyons and Franz Sigel in early 1861, they were aware of such an impending Confederate ambush and that they received that information from a woman who had the power over death. On August 2, 1861, during the battle in which Lyons' forces prevailed, Victoria's father was killed. Distraught by his death, Victoria, now unhinged, attempted to resurrect him, digging up his body but failing in her grim endeavor. After this, she began to call herself Malectus. The famous battle at Wilson's Creek took place on August 10, 1861, and is one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. Rumors swirled that Victoria, going by her new name, would roam the battlefield, killing soldiers from both sides indiscriminately, and then enslaving their corpses. For years, any unnatural or unfortunate event that happened in the area was blamed on Victoria. Fear amongst the town people grew to a fever pitch, and eventually they arrested Victoria, tried her as a witch, found her guilty, and then burned her at the stake. Victoria Mumford's story, from her mysterious disappearance to her transformation into Malectus, is a haunting tale of loss, madness, and the dark power of superstition. Whether she truly wielded necromantic powers or was merely a victim of her own mind and the fears of those around her, her legend remains a chilling reminder of the thin line between reality and myth. As we wrap up this season of Ozark Mountain Lore, we've journeyed together through the spine-tingling ghost stories, unearthed chilling urban legends, pondered the mysteries of alien encounters, faced the terrors of monsters, and delved into the dark arts of witches. Each tale from the heart of the Ozarks have left us spellbounded, reminding us that these hills and hollows hold secrets that continue to haunt and intrigue. As the shadows grow long and the nights deepen, remember that every legend has a kernel of truth, every ghost a story to tell, and whether you believe in the supernatural or see it all as myths, the Ozarks will always be a place where the lines between reality and legend blur. Thank you for joining me for this season of Ozark Mountain Lore. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your minds curious, and may your nights be free of those things that go bump in the night. For more content, follow Around the Ozarks on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, or go to AroundTheOzarks.com and subscribe to the daily newsletter so you don't miss when new episodes drop.